Hello everyone, FunshotX here. Welcome to another episode of Will It Shine, where we take games, early access and new release games from the Steam Workshop, give them a little try out, see if they're worth buying, and what we think of them. This game is called Scrap Mechanic. It will be available on Steam on January 20th, 2016, which is tomorrow for me, but probably, I don't know, today for you, depending on when you're watching this. They haven't released a price yet, but I've heard it's going to be around $19. It might be cheaper during early access. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it is very, very early access. It's like version 0.1, even though it's been out for, or around anyway, in development for probably like three or more years. So it's not the most quickly developed game. So if you're looking to buy a game that's fully fleshed out, has tons of features and a really extensive experience with no bugs and all that stuff, it's probably not ready for that yet. But if you like early access games to kind of check them out, maybe guide the development, put your input in, then yeah, maybe give it a try. As full disclosure, I received a key from the developers to give this game a look before it's available publicly. All right, so what is this game? This game, I don't know. I can't really put it in a genre. Right now, it's only a creative contraption builder. That's what I'll call it. Creative contraption builder. There's no survival elements yet. Maybe there will be at some point. I probably guarantee there will be. But in contraption builder, meaning you've got some physics elements, some things that spin, some things that move and propel, and you can put them together and yeah, do stuff. Whatever you are. It's very much up to you. There's no objective. It's just build something cool. So let's call this Will It Shine? And we'll make it a terrain build, not a flat world. I like to have the terrain. Sure, it's private. Settings. You can turn things on and off if you want to like maximize how many things can be in the game. If you want to limit like players, like if you're doing right now there's no multiplayer, but there will be. And if you want to host a game, maybe you can say, maximum 5 controllers per player or something like that. Yeah, but anyway, don't need to do any of those for a single player game. Create the world. I didn't show you, there was 2 characters you could select. There's the little chubby guy on the right and the blonde girl on the left. You can play as either of those characters. So you can see I am the girl apparently. And yeah, here's the world. It's got an interesting graphic style, very cartoonish. Yeah, there's quite a few games I could compare it to, but I won't. And this is not procedurally generated. It's just the creative world that you start in. So you'll always have these silos and everything like that. So the first thing you start with, you can see in my hand, is a Mechanic's Handbook. Most games, help and tutorials are an afterthought. This game made them beautiful. I mean, look at this. It's a whole book, but it's got videos that open up in YouTube, I believe. Then you've got how to build. All the major blocks are defined with nice, like almost Lego-looking tutorials and instructions. But you can really start to get. You've got a FAQ in the back idea. So if you're like, how do bearings work? We'll click here, and it's like, well, attach a bearing, attach pieces to it. It spins. We'll get into that in just a minute. We've got this hammer. I think this is going to be more for like survival, maybe attacking mobs or other players. I don't know. I don't know any use for it right now. Then you've got your typical blocks, so we can build things. Big old platform of stone. Let's add some. Oh. Okay, we're back. This is actually the first time I've had the game crash in all that I've played with it. You can see I've got a different world. That world is gone forever, and I spawned in a different location, it appears. And maybe it is procedurally generated, but I think it's a small area. There's like boundaries, there's fences and stuff. So yeah, as I was saying, you can build with stone, you can build with wood. We've also got, if you hit you get inventory, you've got some metal, some kind of like construction looking things, some tile, and some bricks. So those are your things. I do not believe they're paintable at this point. They might be at some time, or maybe I just don't know the hotkey for it. But then you've got all your physics stuff. So they kind of start you off with your hotbar set up to build a car. And if you go watch YouTube right now, there's probably like 40 videos on how to build a car. So a typical car. So we're not going to do that. We're going to get a little bit more advanced. But you do need to know how to use this guy. This is your lift, and that basically means start creating me a new contraption. And you can only have one lift, so if you place a new one, it goes away. Cool thing about this lift is you can start building on it, and then you hit up or down to lower it and raise it. Oh, if space engineers had this, our wheel problems would be gone. But then when you're ready to use your contraption, you just right-click on the lift and it goes away. Well, now what do I want to do if I want to build more on it? Well, you can just select that lift, click on your contraption, and now you can place it again in the world, and it's centered and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. You can also use the lift as a personal elevator. There's no damage because we're on creative mode, but there is no flight. So building, you're going to need to either build scaffolding or something to get you up and down if you build a big thing. There's also no easy way to like delete the whole thing, but you can right click and select a plane. Okay, so let's start building something. What I want to do is I want to build a car, but it's going to be more of a transforming car. Let's show off some of the cool contraptions and sensors and all that kind of stuff that you can build. And it's going to be rocket powered. So first thing we want to do is, I guess, get a general platform where we're going to build on. So let's make this out of, we can make it out of metal. You can see metal's heavy, wood's light, concrete's medium, barriers are light. And then, yeah, kind of. So the only heavy material is this metal. Let's make it out of metal. So I don't need that concrete anymore. And let's just make as long as a platform as we can make. It gets to. It looks like we're building a huge thing, but it's actually pretty small once you start adding components to it. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and put it right back on so it's more centered. And that's just gonna make it easier. Okay. Now what I want this thing to do, I want the wheels to be up almost like a helicopter mode and then fold out. But they're also going to have, oh goodness, hold on, let me see, suspension. Okay, so we need to get something for that suspension to roll out on. And how are we going to want this? I'm going to go ahead and put a block right here. And that'll be our anchor point. Now we need to attach a bearing. All a bearing is just a point of rotation. So we'll add that right there. And now the cool thing about this game that's different than maybe some of the other ones is if you build, I'm directly looking at this bearing, right? So I'm attaching this to a bearing. If I point here, I'm actually attaching to the car, but I'm attaching the bearing. So all these blocks that I'm putting here are attached to the bearing, not to the car. Does that make sense? Cool. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This car is going to be wacky, just so you guys know. It's not going to be this typical car. All right, so that's good. Now we'll add a block coming out like, we need to Q because we want to build in this plane. So Q just switches plane. It's not really rotation, it's switches planes. And then let's go ahead and add our suspension. Right there. And right there. Okay. Now I'm going to add another block here, and this will be where our wheels attach. So let's put that there and that there. And so basically if you saw that we had a rotation point here, so if we trigger that, this whole piece will come and rotate out. And then when we untrigger, it'll come back and fold up nice. Okay. Now a lot of people on YouTube would just put a wheel there and call it good, right? That's not what we're going to do. Put a block there. And I'm going to go like, let's see, how big do I need these wheels to be? Let's start with that. And so remember, make sure you're not attaching here, you're attaching it to the right block. And then I'm worried we're going to bottom out, so let's put one more block on there. Ooh, we might be getting too close. We'll see if this works. Okay. So same thing here, attach that block, bring it out here, 3 blocks in every direction. Looks like a helicopter, right? Well, maybe. Now, what am I going to use instead of wheels? Well, something much more fun. It's in the game, so I'm going to use it. I have no idea why it's in the game. There's a boot. Now, we need to figure out how to rotate this thing so that it faces the right way. And that, if this thing, nope, we want it this way. Okay, now that sticks out 2 blocks, so we are going to have a problem here. So we're going to take these off. So that will go there. That one will go there. Now, can I put this one here? Oh, yeah. Nice. So it's got, radial symmetry. So even though I'm rotating around, the boot is actually staying in the correct direction. Oh, that's the wrong way, isn't it? All right. I do want to face it that way. Okay. Let's fix it. And that one's correct. Okay, yeah, we're good here. Put the last one on. All right. So let's figure out how to make these front wheels work before we actually try and add the rest of the car. Just make sure everything's working. So what do we need? We're going to need a seat. So let's go ahead and put the seat on. The seat is even. So if you're building and you want things to look right, you should build an even plane, which is a little bit weird for us Minecrafters that like to build odd, so things look good. But yep, so we'll put that there. We also need an engine, so we're going to stick an engine on here. And now we need some way to make these things deploy. So let's go into our contraptions and tools and all that stuff, and let's get a switch. A switch is toggleable, so we can do it on and off. I don't need the boots anymore, so I'm going to put a switch right, yeah, I don't know, right here. Okay, now, how do we start hooking up things? We go to this switch. Now, if I try and drag, this is like the tool for like wiring almost, and it's 3D, so you can actually see the things even though they're in between, which is awesome. If I just wire this switch to that, there's nothing, it doesn't know what to do. It's just like toggle a rotor or a bearing. What do? I need to know how to rotate it. So you also need this controller block. And so we'll get that guy in place. Here, put him on a better plane here. There we go. Now we'll wire the controller to the rotor, and this controller to the rotor, and then to the switch. All right, so now what happens when I hit the switch? Nothing. Oh, we got to remove the lift. If I can see the lift. Lots of stuff doesn't work when you're on the thing, so. Nothing. All right, so that means we need to come in here and actually set what we want these rotors to do. Now, if we look at them, you can see they've been given a number when we attach them to the controller. This is 1 and this is 2. We want this one to rotate out the red arrow, following the red arrow, and we want to do it 90 degrees. The other one we want to do blue and 90 degrees as well. So let's go in here, and this is like their initial settings. We want that at 0 where it is now. And then after the first stage, you know, we want them to be at 1 was red 90, so just drag it to the left, you click on it, drag it, and 2 was blue 90. Now when you click that button, it's going to execute these in a series of stages. So first it's going to start at 0, it's going to go to negative 90, and then since we haven't configured these all, it should just stay there because we haven't set to repeat. And right now we're at a kind of a moderately fast setting rotation speed. Makes sense. All right, so we hit E on this, and we see our boots go into play. Oh, that's awesome. They flip out, and they're ready to go. All right, these boots are made for walking. So now how do we get them to go? We need to attach these bearings, not to the switch, because we don't want them to just rotate and stay. We need to put them on to like the engine, so that the engine actually makes them drive. So let's get our tool again and drag them onto the engine. Okay. Now notice they didn't do anything because the engine is not running. If we look at the engine, it's turned off. If I just turn it on right now, these boots are just going to start spinning and we'll go driving off. We don't want to do that. So I also need to drag the engine to the steering or the pilot seat. And that allows me to control the engine with the W key so we can turn these boots on and off. So now, come into here, turn the engine on just a little bit. Let's go like to 2 and click out there. I wish the escape button would close that menu, but it doesn't. And now we can get in our seat. And when we hit W, nothing happens. Oh no, why is nothing happening? Those compressions, look how they're like, the springs are completely compressed. Okay. So let's look at this. Why would this not work? That one is spinning the correct direction. This one is not, so we'll rotate that. Let's give it a little bit more juice. Maybe that was the problem. Get back in here. Come on, come on. I think we're just bottomed out too much. So what if I quickly here get just as temporary. Oh no, bring you down. You don't need to stay up. What if we just add some wheels on here? Just so it's off the ground and not dragging its butt. Where did I put that one? Mirror mode would be nice, developers, but that would come at a later point, I assume. Let's get some big old wheels on this guy. I will not leave these here. These are just temporary. We are not using wheels in this build. We're building a car with no wheels, technically, with boots. All right, let's take this baby back off. Oops, I forgot to deploy my boots. What'd I do? Well, if I need to deploy my boots while I'm driving, what I can do is get this thing and drag the button to the steering wheel, or this pilot seat. And now you'll see down in my hotbar, I have that button, and I can toggle it with the number 1. Now, here we go. They're spinning. They're spinning. Oh, yeah. We have a boot car. Yes! Look at the suspension. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then we can fold it in when we're done with it. Oh, sweet. Okay, so that was the problem. It was just dragging too much. Those boots didn't have enough power. You know what we could do? If we had... I'm going to try something. Another bearing right here. And dragged out. Same kind of thing. Oops, it's having problems. It's having problems. It's not attached to anything, so it's kind of just wants to walk on its own. That's okay. Come on, switch planes. There we go. Okay, and then more boots. Oh, we got rid of our boots. I need more boots. This is going to make it a little bit more round. Rotation is very difficult in this game. Come on, get off. Oh yeah, if you put this on the platform or whatever it is, the lift, rotors and stuff won't move, so it makes it a lot easier to build. Okay, now what I'd like to try is to say when we deploy this with the button, I also want to affect this rotor here. Oops, and the controller. And so that'll be number 3. And I would like him to go blue, but not 90 degrees, just offset a little bit to make this a little more round. So let's go 3 and say after you deploy, that's the stage 1 you'll deploy. Well, yeah, let's do it right here. 45 degrees on the blue side. Well, let's try that. Keep hitting escape. All right, so if we toggle the button, now you can see that one boot wheel is toggled by 45 degrees to the other one. So let's do that same thing over here. See, it's going to roll so much better with that. All right, let me do that really quick. Okay, guys, I got those that second level added and wired, and a few of mine you probably already noticed were yelling at the screen that they were different lengths. So now everything is the same length. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we can deploy. And now they're all offset at 45-degree angles, so we have a nice round boots. Okay, so what are we going to do in the back, and how are we going to steer this thing? Well, that's coming next. We're doing rear wheel steering. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is we're going to take the stone tool. We're actually going to remove a ton of the back. All of that. Oops. Right click, stupid. All of this. All right. Now we're going to have one big wheel here that can rotate left and right to kind of steer us. But it's not going to be made of wheels. It's gonna be made of rocket engines. Yeah, that's right. We're firing. We're going rocket power. So let's go ahead and get this thing up on a lift just to make it easier. Can I find that thing to aim it up? There we go. All right, so I can take you off. Don't need you anymore. Don't need you anymore. All right, so this rocket wheel will be in the middle, and it needs to rotate this way and this way, but also spin. Now, how are we going to do that? That's going to be quite a little bit complicated. Oh, can I even not get up there? You suck. We're going to have a rotor system. Let's see. There and there. And then I think one here. I didn't plan this out yet. No, because that won't be able to move. Hold on, let me think this out just a little bit better, guys. Alright, guys, change of plans. We're gonna make a hovercraft. I tried to do the quadrilateral steering mechanism to get a single wheel to spin in between these two pegs, and I can't figure it out. I know I can with more practice, but I just want to get a video out with a cool car. So let's make a hovercraft instead. So at least in the back. What we need to do is add some rockets, and let's go ahead and lower this down because I need to put these rockets a little bit higher. So add them up like that. Go across here. Sure. And let's make it a little bit thicker just for good measure. Okay. That can be our spoiler as well. Here we go. Put a rocket onto right there and there. Cool. And now we want those rockets to fire, but not full time. Because if fired full time, depending on how many we have, they might just flip us over. So what we can get, we're going to show every single block there is, my goodness, is a sensor block, which is this guy here. We'll put him there. Don't need another steering column. I'm going to put this sensor block, this one, right here. Okay. So that's going to say, sense anything, and it'll sense the ground. If it does sense the ground, it'll turn the rocket on. Once the rocket gets it to a good enough height, the sensor will go off and turn the rocket off, in theory. So just connect these sensors to the rockets, and let's give it a try. Since we're in creative, there's no like damage or durability, so we don't have to worry about any of that. So you can see they are trying to fire, and they're not really able to lift it off the ground. So let's add some additional rockets here. Let's go ahead and get something like this. This thing might just take off into the sky if I do it wrong, so we gotta be careful. So let's try 4. This is a very heavy machine because we've made it all out of metal. Maybe that was a bad idea, but that's okay. Okay. It's trying to lift the back. It's actually doing a pretty good job. Let's see if we can actually move. Deploy our wheels. The back. Come on, wheels. You can do it. I know we're heavy. You can do it. No, we are too heavy. Okay. It's dragging too much. Let's try one more set of rockets. See if we have any better luck here. Oh, I have a feeling this thing's just going to take off into space. Maybe we should add a central one instead of doing 2 more. No, we're just going to do them all. Central one that would like always be firing just to give it a little more. That might be good. Oh, I could use... Ah, yeah, that'll be good. Okay, let's turn this off, and have 2 more, but they'll be here and here. And those will be on another button. Did I get rid of my button? I got rid of my button. Come back, button. All right, so I know that button's not the right way, but that's okay. So this button will control that engine and that engine. And put it on our steering wheel. All right. This is going to work. You ready? Oh, yeah. So we hit 1, deploy the boots. 2, turn on the engines. Oh, that may be a little high. And go. Yes! We have no steering, though. We're going crazy. Okay, okay, okay. Oh no, I got out without turning him off. Okay, so what did we learn? We learned we have too many hovercraft engines, so I'm going to take off this one and this one. I'm going to put this back on here and add one more always on engine. Okay, and these sensors are also too low. They're not detecting, it's turning off until I'm way up in the air. So let's move them like out. That's probably too high. Oops. Maybe like right here. I'm worried that they're gonna like sense the actual ship itself, so maybe let's put it way back here. Okay, sensor, sensor, wire, wire. Okay. Now, how do I control steering? Well, let's do this. Let's say, let's put, there's not a lot of physics as far as like airflow and that kind of stuff, so we can't really like have wings. That would be cool. I hope they add like wings that would have dynamics like that. Now, how are we going to turn these steering engines on or off? Because if we bind them to the seat, they'll just turn on with W, I believe. Let's just check that. I don't think it knows, is smart enough to say, oh, these engines are faced left and right, so only fire. Yeah, they're fine on W. Okay. If you want to deselect something, just trace the line again, it'll turn off. Okay, so we need to have those on their own buttons, I guess. Or, oh, toggle switches. Let's do that. So put that right there. Have this there and that there. Wire. Well, this is more complicated than any first car you're ever going to see on YouTube, guys. I can tell you that much. Much more crazy, right? All right, wire that button to the seat. All right, so 3 will turn us to the right, 4 will turn us to the left, and we're ready to go. All right, 1, 2, go. 3, yes, we're turning. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. 4, turn that way. We don't have a lot of clearance. Our suspension, I think we should have not used the sports suspension. That was probably a bad choice. I'm going to add one more engine just for good measure. Oops, got to turn it off first. Don't fall on my head. Ouch! Alright, 1, 2. Yeah. The sensors are just always on. And I built them at different heights. Look at that. That's... Seriously? Alright, let me fix it. Okay, guys, we are back. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I've got, now 4 always-on engines. I've got, actually, I'm only using 1 engine that's on the sensor. and it's actually back in its original spot. Those sensors only detect like 1 block down for themselves, so it actually works out pretty well. I turned our engine all the way up, full blast, and let's give it a shot and see how we do. So fold out the boots, turn on our hover. Hover seems to be working pretty well, so we can give it a go. Yeah. Oh, we need to turn a little bit. Nope, wrong way, wrong way. Let's see, can we go backwards? Whoa, whoa. Oh, those hover worked perfect. As soon as we started to flip, they turned off. See how they turn off? So we need to turn. There we go. Not too much. Go, go. Yes, we're going. We're moving. Turn that way. We're gonna jump in the crater. Sweet. All right, guys, before I go, I've added one new system. Rather than have those toggle buttons on the turning left and right, instead I've done this really cool system where you can see these 2 little things switch back and forth, and they trigger sensors, which then fire the engine. So I can actually use the steering wheel now to do my to turn my ship instead of using the 3rd and 4th button, which was kind of annoying. So this thing, it's so much easier to fly now. I've got an extra engine on there because it wasn't quite powerful enough. Whoa! Now it's overly powerful. But yeah, you can just counter steer and drive this thing pretty straight. It is really loud. Well, that's okay. All right, let's get going straight. Let's try and... is that a jump? Can we hit the jump? No, there's no way we can hit the jump. Cool. Well, guys, if you like this game, make sure you hit the like button, and I'll play some more of it. We can build a lot more cool stuff. Let's get those engines off there. We can build a ton of contraptions, not just vehicles, but cool conveyor systems and doors and I don't know what else. I don't know. We'll find some crazy things that we can do with this game if you guys enjoy it. Don't worry, I'll still play Space Engineers just as much. And if you like this game, go get it on Steam. Remember, it's early access, so there's quite a few, there's not a lot of features to it yet, but they will add them as they go. And I think it's definitely shining right now. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next episode. Catch you later. Bye.